Hello, hello, my friends. AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink. Welcome to the face, the card making space. We're live. Disclaimer slash housekeeping slash heads up. I look like crap. I feel like crap. Not feeling too great. The unpaid intern will be here in a minute. He's making tea because he's not feeling good either because we caught the crud that all our kids had last week. So everything just, that's how it feels right now. But I have work. This is my job. This is my job, man. And I have things a little bit prepped and ready to go. So we shall see. And yeah, we're just gonna make it work. So, oh, and then there was another housekeeping. The card winners from the last live. Thank you for the tea. From the last live and the one before have not been mailed out. They will get mailed out this week with the winner of today's live. Because I have to go to the post office. I have to renew my post office box and all of it. Like I have to. So things will get mailed out. Things are ready. All the stuff. So it's just, yeah, it's just one of those days. Just feeling a little bit blurg. So hello to all of the peeps, and we're gonna make a card, and then we'll just see. It's crazy. We got Finland and Norway and Germany and all the places. It's crazy. It's crazy. But one, cameras are working. We'll just see if they continue to work. With that said, let's flip this down. See, I did prep work for once when I was doing things. So we'll get to like all the bits and pieces in a bit, but for now we'll just take that off of there. Where's my, there it is. This little wafer die, I've shown it in many videos. It's oldie but goodie. In fact, nothing I'm using is like new. Well, maybe the embossing folder, but we'll get to the embossing folder in a little bit. And thank you everyone for the get well wishes. Yeah, I'm not feeling as cruddy as the unpaid intern. No. But I think I'm just a day behind. So I'm not looking forward to this because it's a rank one. It is a nasty cold, and
our kids all had it.
Yeah, the kids all had it, and it's just been not fun. And yeah, now we're dealing with it, and it just poor us. Okay, so yeah, die cuts. So I die cut the PRIVET branch from Canson XL watercolor paper. Any watercolor paper is going to work. I've shown this in a couple recent videos. What? Stop it. Dude. Sorry, you just sit in the corner and be quiet. Don't give me a heart attack. Everything's working fine. Shush. Okay. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Okay. So, I got my little die cuts from Canson XL watercolor paper. And again, reminder, links to all the things are in the description box below the video. I also, for those watching the live chat, I have it pinned at the top of the live chat, the visual supply list as well. The unpaid intern, if he lasts the entire live, because again, no guarantee, because he is feeling pretty crappy. So yeah, if he's not able to keep posting it in the chat, it's all there. So, distress watercolor pencils. I have shown this in a couple recent videos, but I thought we would do it live so that I can just show how simple this is. Also, I did not invent this. I had someone contact me and they're like, this is such an amazing technique you invented. I was like, oh dude, I did not invent this. I've seen many makers do this on like reels and videos and things. Like this is not new. I don't invent nothing. So I got my trusty little jar of dirty paint water, the forbidden paint water, as he likes to call it, but I'm still not gonna let him drink. Maybe it would cure us.
Cure what?
If you drank the forbidden paint water.
Oh goodness, no.
You never know. Now, just give me a sec, guys. I'm like removing the tea bag from my cup of tea. There we go.
It would hasten the cold because we would spend the rest of the time in the hospital.
Ice cream's always the answer. Yeah, we got ice cream yesterday. I'm glad we went yesterday because the way I feel today, there's no way we're going to go for a walk to get ice cream. Well,
It's not bad. It rained for like 45 seconds directly over our house and then just moved
When
on.
did it rain?
Like an hour ago.
Oh, I didn't even notice. Anyway, okay. So I got my kind of my go-to green combo. Twisted Citron and Rustic Wilderness. Just any greens are going to work. And it's you dip them in the water. That's it. You dip them in the water, and the longer the water sits on the, I thought that was so strange. Yeah, no, this is dirty paint water. This nice little cup that I'm keeping away is tea. Anyway, the longer you let the water kind of sit on the watercolor pencil, the more it saturates. Will this work with other brands of watercolor pencils? Technically, yes. It works best with woodless ones. There are other brands that do woodless watercolor pencils. With wood watercolor pencils, the only thing you need to be very aware of, obviously, is if you're constantly dipping a watercolor pencil that has wood in water, you can start, the wood itself can start to split, you know, and you might potentially wreck it. But if you're doing it every once in a while, it should be fine. So, yeah, you dip it and then you can apply it directly to your die cut, or you could do like if you want to muck around and do a background, anything like that. So I don't know. I've been like playing around with this the last couple weeks, and it's somewhat therapeutic to just literally muck around. And then yeah, like I said, the longer this sits with like water on it, it will get softer. So it's just something to be aware of, that you know it's not gonna you don't want to throw these around, is what I'm trying to say, when you've been dipping them in water, and then when you let them dry, they dry and they're fine. They're dry. How long does it take them to dry out? Depends on your climate. It doesn't take very long. I just literally set them on my desk when I'm done mucking around with them, and they dry in 10-15 minutes. You know, it doesn't take very long. Um, so yeah, and when you set them down, like you'll start to see too, it'll, you know, because it transfers. It's all fine. It's all good. But yeah. I have a link, Geraldine. I linked to the pencil sharpener because people have been asking about that, because they're like, oh my gosh, the point you have is amazing. The only reason these are sharpened is because I sharpened them to do the palette and stuff. But yeah, I did post a link to the sharpener in with the supplies, because it is a good sharpener. It's just a Prismacolor one. It's not expensive or nothing. But yeah, it's a good little sharpener. I've had it for years. And then I also did post a link below the video in the description to my Distress Watercolor Pencil playlist, because I have done many videos over the last couple years using them. Okay, so we did all that, just like so, and then we can really get fun with it. Okay, and then we're just gonna use our fingers and do like finger painting basically, and move the color around, because it's fun. And this is where things get a little bit mucky, a little bit messy. But again, it's fun. You could do a brush though, if you don't like doing, you know, if you don't want to get your finger dirty. But honestly, I recommend giving it a try, because it's just fun. So there we go. So I just dip my finger in water, and then we're just finger painting. Anybody can do this, you know. Just move the color around, just like so. Yes. Okay. And then I want to bring in a little bit of gathered twigs for the little stem. Got that dipped in there. And then we can kind of scribble that onto the stem, just like so. Boop. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. And same thing. We'll just kind of move it around a little bit. There. We did a branch and a second one. Add a bit to that. Add a little bit more of my greens. Mine are already, my pencils, it hasn't even been 10 minutes. My pencils are almost fully dry at this point. Like, there's a little bit of moisture left there, but not much. But again, it'll just depend on your climate and all the things, but yeah. So, I'm like knocking everything over, as is tradition. Let's take these guys, and we're gonna let them just sit and dry. So just stick them on my little hardboard, just like so. Set that aside. Wipe up my mess. Okay. Okay. So that was those. And then I couldn't resist. I used this in the previous video I had uploaded. My little layered warbler. It's a bird. We're gonna put a bird on it.
I love warblers.
I do too. Sorry, folks. I forgot to take the cover off that, so that was probably loud. But anywho, okay. Hands do work well unless you deal with a bit of arthritis. It's truth. And for those that, yes, if your hands just don't work that way, you know, people with pain in their fingers, a brush, you can do it with a brush. You know, you don't have to use your fingers. You can totally use a brush. It's fine. So we got all our little pieces, and same thing. I die cut this little guy from more just Canson XL watercolor paper. Got all my little pieces. Get over here. So we're gonna paint him. We're gonna paint him. Doop. Oh, there's the other piece. Don't want to lose that. His little head, and then I've got the little pieces. Boop. There we go. And that one I'll just keep over there. So for him, we're gonna do kind of just browns and grays. I'm not gonna make him super colorful because there's other parts of the card that I want focused on. We're gonna use, there it is. I was like, where's my watercolor brush? Okay, so little detail watercolor brush, nothing fancy. This is just my same old. This is the Distress Detailer watercolor brush that I've had for, like, I'm not even joking, probably a decade. And another way you can use the watercolor pencils is just direct with a brush. And it doesn't have to be water, but you can dip a paintbrush in water and same thing. It's same, you know. Use what you got, whatever you're comfortable with. We're just gonna paint up our little birdie. Gonna add a bit of that. We'll add a bit of hickory smoke. I'm not sure what she means. No. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure what. Oh, it had to be with. Would watercolor pencils work like that too? I'm not sure what you mean, TJ, but same thing. Like if a person is, yeah, because it's not just like arthritis, it's things like that where you know, if you've got tremors and that sort of a thing, you can still use your fingers, you know, because even if you've got like tremors, but you can still also just use a brush. Like what I was doing with those branches, it wasn't, I was literally just slapping color on, you know? So it wasn't like, oh, you have to get into like very, because I understand like that when you've got like tremors or arthritis, different things, like trying to get into a very detailed little area, that sort of thing can be so difficult. But something like this, it's like you can just slap the color on. You can apply it direct like I did, use your finger, or you could scribble with the watercolor pencils, or you could use just straight up watercolors. This is just another option using the watercolor pencils, but you could just have watercolors and dip with a brush and slap color on. That's why I reuse the same, like, even though the die cuts are the same, I've shown like a bajillion different ways to add color to them. And like, this gives it texture, you know? Like, this wasn't specific. This wasn't, you know, painting veins or anything like that. It was like, I was just slapping color on. So I hope that, like, makes sense. In one of your videos that I cannot find, like, you used a stencil that faded from large circles or squares into smaller ones. It might be one of my lives. I did one not too long ago. It might be because if you can't find it, it was probably because I on my YouTube channel. If you're on the actual main channel page, there's categories like there's videos, live streams, community, etc. Probably if it's the one I'm thinking of, it's probably one of my lives. So check under the live stream. That might be what you were looking for. Okay, we're just doing messy watercolor again. There's something about messiness, regardless of what I was saying earlier about like having tremors and things like that. There's something about doing like messy watercolor that I love because it gives things more texture, you know? There's a bit more texture, there's a bit more like free flow movement to it, etc. Um, and I like that. The more I experiment with just being purposely just messy, don't overthink it. Just have fun with it. You know, it's fun. So I'll add a bit to that, and then I'm gonna add some brown. So this is ground espresso. I'm gonna add a bit of. I showed this in a couple of recent videos. Adding a little bit of splatter just from the watercolor pencil to like my brush and just flicking it from the watercolor pencil, and it creates splatter. Love it. Love it. So we're going to add a little bit of brown. I'm going to wipe my brush off a bit because I don't want this to be like super brown. He's just going to be a cute little bird. Add a bit more to him. Just like so. You make it look so easy. Well, one, thank you. Two, practice. And also I've just done similar things in the past. I don't know what it is, random. And this applies to not just these like watercolor pencils, but just distress colors in general. I really like when browns and grays mix together. I don't know what it is. It creates such a pretty, so I don't really want to go over that too much. Can add a little bit of black soot, but not a ton, because I really like what I got going on over there. So we're going to add a bit of black soot just to deepen some of this up a bit. And then I just have a cloth off to the side, and I keep, especially with black soot distress in all of its forms, whether it's watercolor pencils, ink, oxide, paint, is insanely pigmented. Insanely pigmented. it stains. Like this is black soot. That is black soot. It stains everything. I'm fine with it. I'm just saying. I've talked about in other videos and things about like red pigments and red dyes and how they stain everything. Red is practically a fugitive pigment in a sense. And it just does. But in that same vein, black soot with distress just stains all the things. It's what it does. And I'm okay with it, but just thought I would mention that. So we're going to add a bit to this too. And then I wipe my brush off so I can kind of fade it out a little bit. And I can pick up a little bit more of the brown and kind of mix them together. And we got the wing. And then I'll use the... Did you find it?
I might have.
You might have.
I'm not 100% sure.
You never know. I post a lot of content, so even for me sometimes I'm just like, I don't know, like without serious specifics, I can't even remember half the time because I post a lot. A lot. So we're gonna paint we'll just paint his little legs black. Maybe add just a smidge more, just a smidge more of the splatter. Just because I can. Just because I can. Love it. Love it. We may be revisiting the splatter later. Well, we will be revisiting the splatter. Who are we kidding? We're going to be doing splatter. Splatter, splatter, all the things. Anyway. Okay. Can you walk through a day in the life of Amy? Like one day she was editing? No. No. It's not like that. I don't have. This is the only schedule. I've talked about this before. This is the only schedule I've ever kept within reason is the Sunday lives. Couldn't tell you what's going to happen tomorrow or every other day of the week for that matter because things are chaotic and I literally have to go with the flow because we know if I make plans of any sort, I get a phone call of some catastrophe. You know, it's like got to pick a kid up, kid's got a flat tire, the sky has fallen, whatever things. Like it literally does not matter. So I don't schedule things hardly at all.
We look after too many human beings.
Yeah, we has too many humans in our household to deal with, and just our life is literally like even just small things like that was one of the reasons why it was very difficult for me to set a time in the beginning to do lives because of schedules, different things. And even though Chris works full time, kind of 9 to 5, he also does overtime sometimes. And the amount of times that it's like I'm in the groove or something, and then he's like, he got pulled into a meeting, I have to go get the kids, that's our life. That is our life. And it is what it is.
Yes.
So yeah, I couldn't walk you guys through it because I don't even know. I legit don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So I am going to mail the cards though. I have them. They're sitting in front of the unpaid intern. I have them literally ready to go. And then today's when that I'm doing it because I have to renew my post office box. Because if I don't do it, they'll give it to someone else because there's a wait list. Yeah. And I'm gonna keep it. It's mine. Actually, no, I'm gonna need this again. So that's a day in the life. Just I'm not joking when I say chaos, man. I know. Yes, texture. When you and it really. I very highly encourage because I know like the whole concept of messy watercolor for a lot of people is very intimidating, and I get it 100%. Because that was me back when I started like experimenting with watercoloring, and I would see other people's makes and I was like, why, how, but it was more stamped images. I highly recommend trying it out with die cuts. There's something because you don't have a stamp line staring at you in the face. It's like you just have this piece, this die cut piece. So it's like slap color on it. you know, muck with your fingers or use the brush and just play with it. It's, I don't know, I find it way more freeing, and in some ways it's therapeutic. And it's also, it's just paper. So if you absolutely hate it after, you know, you're done with it and it's just an absolute hot mess, toss it. Try it again. You know, it's a piece of paper. So, yeah. Yeah. Um Random question, what is your favorite color pencils? I know you're not la la la. I've never used Caran d'Ache ones. I have I have Prismacolor color pencils, which are nice. I would consider those kind of lower end on the scale, really. And then I have a set of Faber-Castell. Those are nice. In fact, they're behind. I'm not even going to make them get them out. There's 5 million things in the way. I don't really use color pencils much anymore. It's hand issues. They hurt. Like even these, that's why I don't like color with these, because you can color in, you can literally, you know, you can color with these and you can just leave them like that, or you can color an image and then take your brush, because they're watercolor pencils just like, and this applies to any watercolor pencil, you know. I don't do that though, because if I do this for like longer than a few minutes, my hands start to seize up and it hurts a lot. So that's why I don't use color pencils much at all anymore. They hurt. Okay, I was gonna do something else. What was I doing? Let's put the bird together. I think it's dry now with all my talking. Yeah, he's dry. Let's put him together so that I don't lose any pieces. Because, yeah, we're going to assemble our birdie. Because otherwise, I'm going to lose, especially these little tiny pieces like the little beak and the eye. We're gonna assemble him. Gonna put a little piece of tape. Doesn't matter what kind, on the back here. Just to cover up the eyeball hole. And then that's why I saved the other little die cut. Just stick it in there. That'll make sense in a second. So we got body. And then you just stick the layers on. Just like so. So stick that there. Flip that little piece over. And then I've got my little, just like so, we'll put a little bit of glue there, a little smidge of glue there, so we can adhere the little pieces. So it's coming together and looking all cute. Faber-Castells are fabulous. Oh yeah, Faber-Castell are, like, they're good quality products. And then his little hat. That's basically what it is. Stick that on there. Look at him being all adorable. And then his little wing. Stick a bit of glue. Doop. Okay. Oh, I got a big blob of glue. There we go. And then that just like nestles right in there. Look at him being all adorable and such. Question, will you be trying out Tim's new scissors when they get to me? Yes. I literally just ordered them. They have not even been shipped out, so it's going to be a good couple weeks probably before before they show up for me to test them out. But yep, I was very curious and I watched his live. That was yesterday. Hoy, like, I don't even know what day it is half time. I was watching his live yesterday about them, and I would have ordered them anyway. Like, I had a plan. I just wanted to order a few more things, you know, because when I gotta order stuff, I'm gonna add a few other goodies to the cart. So there's our little birdie. He's all adorable. Which sets of the Tim Holtz watercolor pencils would you recommend if you only get 2? Choose colors that you like. Each set of the watercolor pencils has a good, like, range of colors. And they did that. I know they did that on purpose. So it's like you can have just one set and you basically have like kind of like a rainbow and a couple neutrals, you know, within reason. And yeah, like I never tell people what to start with or like what colors to get because that is a very personal decision. But yeah, just pick a couple sets of colors that just appeal to you because you'll have like a really good range within them. Um, I'm not sure which set has the black soot and I think it's like the very like set one. Whatever set has the black soot and the picket fence the white, I probably get that, and I think it has like the your like basic brights. But yeah, okay. Um, let's zoom out a little bit because now we're going to use an embossing folder. There we go. Let me get my big jar of watercolor paper out of the way, and then embossing folders. These are still on sale. I have the link in the doobly-doo, the description box below the video. They're 25% off. There's the code is posted below for another. I think the sale ends tomorrow night. So yeah. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. Thank you for the tea, babe. It helped. So this is the cherry blossom embossing folder, and it has little cutting dies. I did the die cutting ahead of time because you know I'm like sort of on the ball. I'm not, but I am. I was just trying to save us the aggravation. Now where's the cardstock? There it is. Okay. There we go. There we go. White cardstock. Let me move things out of the way because I'm already like forgetting what I'm doing with my life. Okay. So let's just move the things out of the way. Let me quickly wipe up. I've got little splotches of the watercolor pencils. And yeah, they're dry. Like they're good to go. I can put them away when I'm done. It's all good. Okay. And then there we go. Embossing folders. I always like to add. Let me move some of this stuff out of the way. This just to keep my workspace from getting soaked. Light mist of water, especially with embossing folders, like assign ones that are 3D embossing folders, so they are like hefty in the sense of the like levels that they're pressing the cardstock into. I like to add just a light mist of water. You do not need to soak your cardstock. You don't want to soak your cardstock, but a light mist, it helps soften the paper fibers so they don't crack. So just a little like, that's lots. Like we're good. So we're gonna line up our cardstock here. Just like so. And then for me and my Anna Griffin Empress machine, you will have to look if you have different brands. These work in pretty much any embossing or die cutting machine. You would just have to look up like different sandwiches and things or figure it out. The biggest thing I can say though is do not force it because you can break your machine. But for the Anna Griffin Empress machine, one cutting plate, folder, and cardstock. That's it. That's all you need. The code, Cat, is in the description box below the video. There we go. Isn't that pretty? Just like that. And it is going to stay just like that. I'm not going to really like, well, we're going to add splatter, but that's in a minute. So we did that. And then there is a coordinating little wafer die that die cuts just little individual blooms, which is what I did before we went live. So I've got a few right here. Let me just, there we go. So they're just plain, like plain, boring. What we're going to do is we're going to stick them. And you just want to find, you can tell with embossing folders, there is what I call the, how do I want to word this? You guys, my head is just like, the side that is raised because it kind of varies with 3D embossing folders, because like there's all kind of like concave and convex. There's just there's a lot going on. But the side that is raised, I call that like kind of the back of the folder. The side that is indented, I kind of call the front, and I label mine just with my label maker. But the indented side is the easiest. And with this one specifically, there's many florals. You can do up to, I forget how many, that are solid. Like some are layered, but I just find the solid florals, and you just press the little florals die cuts into those openings, just like so. You can also tape them in place. I'm not going to bother. Sometimes with the die cuts, I find taping them in place helps, because if they're just wanting to jump around, but I just stick them in there. Just gonna leave it like that, and I'm gonna run that through the machine. So now that'll add the embossing. Okay, so now that they're embossed, hopefully I can show this on camera. Oh yeah, you should be able to see it. See? So now they've got like embossing detail, and even the edges are pressed. It's just pretty. So I did a stack of them before we went live, so that we didn't have to sit here and watch me do this over and over again, because like I said, I'm just trying to stay alive. Okay. So we had our little florals, and then we're gonna, hello to everyone just tuning in, we're just gonna stick these. And I did extras. I was actually heavily inspired by the flowering crabapple tree we have in front of our house.
It's gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
So many bees.
Oh yes, it is full of bees. They take turns. There's like rounds of honeybees that show up and fill it, and then big fat bumblebees show up and crawl their little fat asses all over it. But yeah, when you sit and just stand really quietly, you can just, like, the tree is humming. So we've got our little florals, and then I want to add some like color to them, just a smidge. Ours is a white flowering crab, although I have 2 pink ones in the backyard that are just divine. Divine. So we got some bubblegum positive saturated ink, and just a little blend. This is a Waffle Flower Shader 1 brush, and I'm gonna like kind of wipe that brush off a bit. And I don't want much, so I grabbed a scrap of watercolor paper, because I want to keep these, like I said, like soft. I just want to add like just a hint of pink to these. And this is where, for me, sort of one of the bigger struggles, because I immediately want to just like intense color, like pull out the picked raspberry and just make it insane. But I just want these to be soft. And thankfully my ink pad's actually not super juicy. These ink pads, when they're newer or you haven't used them very much, are insanely juicy because they're positively saturated. But I've used this one so much, it's actually at the point where I probably need to re-ink it. But that also makes it easier, so I'm not getting, because you'll notice, like, you'll like tap a little brush in there and it'll just be like full of ink. But yeah, this one I'm gonna have to leave out to remember to re-ink it later. Just add just a smidge of color. Just like so. Boop. Then we've got little cherry blossoms. Just like that. Okay, I'm not gonna, you could, if you really wanted to get like extra, you could like use a little markers on and dot like the little stamens and stuff. I'm not gonna do that. We don't have time for that. I am tired. I'm tired and I don't feel good. Wham. I haven't made my second palette yet. You did great. Oh yeah. Yeah. In the playlist linked below, I show how I make a distress watercolor palette with the pencils and shaving them and everything. I did a whole video on it because I do get asked that a lot. And yeah, currently working on a new one. We'll come back to that. I might go live one of these days when I'm not feeling like absolute crap. Because I'm feeling like absolute crap right now. Just wham. Okay. So, do you have a re-inker for every ink pad you have? Mostly, yes. Yeah. The only re-inkers I don't currently have that I will eventually have to get is for my Concord and 9th ink pads. But yeah, I do have, especially ones like this. I highly recommend it. And especially if they're inks you use a lot. It's, yeah. You get a ton of use. Even me, that I use these ink pads all the time. It's only my like most used colors that I've had to re-ink. I have not had to re-ink like all of them. And yeah, and I've shown techniques too. Like I've watercolored with my re-inkers, done all the things. Okay, we got florals. We got the greenery. I did my word die cuts before I went live. This is this is another oldie but goodie, and it's linked below. The handwritten hello. I originally meant for the word to be gold, and then when I was die cutting, because again, it's like a fever dream, I die cut the outline from Simon's matte gold cardstock, and then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go with it. I'm just gonna go with it. So then I die cut the word from white cardstock, and then I stacked them, as is tradition. So I've got 3 layers glued together of the word, and then glued to the outline of the gold, which is not something I normally would do, because I normally would do the word in gold and the outline in white or vellum, whatever. But yeah, I like it. So fun. Now let's stop again. Tea break. Okay. What am I doing? I'm gonna cut this down. That's what I'm doing. So we got our background. We're gonna trim this down. Yeah, we're gonna trim down just a bit, not a ton. I like to just take off. I'll trim this down to, well, let's just trim it down a little bit first. We'll trim it down to 4 by 5 1/4. Kind of one of my go-to sizes with card bases. There we go. And then if we do that, then this guy's gonna go there, and then the bird is, yeah, this works. Okay. That. And then card base. There it is. My card base. So top folding A2 white note card. We're keeping it sort of simple-ish. Sort of. And then do I just want to trim this down anymore? Not really. I think I'm fine with this. So we need to add our leaves. And then we're going to add our birdie, because he's going to be sitting on here. Yeah. This is what we're doing. Okay. So we're going to add some glue. Stick a few little dabs of glue. Boop. And then commit. Just like so. not sticking the birdie on yet because I told you I still plan on doing splatter. I just want to stick him so I can see what I'm doing here. And then all my little, let's just do it. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. So we'll just start, let me put this over here. Okay. Just commit. Just put clusters. This is why I did a whole bunch of these die cuts, because I wanted like clusters of these. I'll stick a magnet on top, press that down while the glue has a chance to set. There we go. Add some more. And then we'll tuck another one over here. I kind of don't want to cover the greenery too much because I really like how the greenery turned out. But if you could see our flowering crab, you can't even see the greenery. It is just white blooms all over it. Mm-hmm. Love it. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna tuck in some more little blooms. Oh, I got two here layered up. There we go. Okay. That. That. Stick more magnets. I will probably have to go back after this video is done and like squeeze glue under things because we're live. I like let everything just sit and really adhere. But even though it's the magic of television, that is one thing I didn't do ahead of time, was like basically make the card. It used to always throw me off as a kid when it was like morning shows and they would like show cooking and then they would like pull out the fully assembled finished thing out from just under the counter.
It's just like
magic.
That oven was magic.
Yep. I always thought as a kid, I was like, that's amazing. Okay. So we got some bloom. Stick another one right there. Grab another magnet, press that down. Squeeze more glue under there. Bernie. He's going to cover up some of the blooms, but that's okay. That is okay. Stick those onto there. Boop. So yeah, we've got like a little flowering crab branch, basically. Stick another, knocking things over, stick another one, roller. Yep, just, oh, I could stick one, I could tuck that right underneath. Just like that. There we go. There we go. So, just press all these down. Let them do their thing. Let's just push that aside. And then, this is why I did two branches, because I was going to stick one on the inside of the card. Just kind of like that. Yeah. So I still have lots of space to write, you know, something. But I didn't feel like stamping. Honestly, I just didn't feel like digging through my stash to find a stamp set to use on the inside. So I was like, I'll just do what I normally do and make a second little branch. We'll just go like that and adhere that to the inside of the card. Just like so. And then wipe up the glue that I got on my card or on my work surface so I don't get glue everywhere. There we go. Boop. So we got that. In the back, I'll let. Yeah, that can just come right off. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. There we go. Then flip the card over, trim off the excess. Boop. And got our little branch. And we just need a little bit more glue. Just like that. And that's why I've got some extra little flowers, because I'll just stick these on the inside as well. These will adhere a little bit faster because I'm not adhering on top of something so textured, because that is part of it, is there's so many peaks and valleys of the embossing folder. So we'll just stick a few on the inside here. Popcorn trees, that's really cute. Love it. Yeah, to a kid it would kind of look like a popcorn tree.
Yeah.
That's funny. There we go. Get this one. I love that you do the insides of your cards. So many people do it. Honestly, and I've talked about this. The reason why is way back when I first started card making, I used to sell my cards way back in the day, because I used to work at a video store, like almost like a Blockbuster, but it was like a locally owned video store, and we sold like snacks and stuff to you. And the owner let me have a little box on the counter and sell my cards. And you know, back in the day when things were all cash. So we would just put it all in an envelope, and you know, that helped fund my hobby. I would sell my little cards, but because I was right there, because I would be working and people would be going through my cards, and they always, every time, they would pull out a card and they would immediately open it up to see what was on the inside every time, because that is what you do. And so many times they were just like, oh, there's nothing here. And so then I started adding like just basic little sentiments, things like that, and then it just kind of evolved into what I do now. And I still like it. There are days though that I'm like, man, why did I have to start doing this? I could get so much more done if I wasn't, because the amount of time I put in to the insides of my cards. And because I do this as a job, it's like, oh, I could get just so much more done. But for me, a card isn't done until there's something on the inside. So it's all good. I'm fine with it. It just sometimes I'm like, boo, boo. Okay. I forgot to add look up dotting tool. I knew there was something. In fact, I can do it. I'm still here. I'm a professional. So you can get to it first.
Nope.
What the hell? I couldn't find it either. Neither of us. We both failed. Wait. I swear sometimes our searching is stupid. Put in KR22NS. Because that's what I'm gonna... Yep. That little tool. A little stylus. Stylus, that would have probably helped. Anyway, we're going to do splatter, of course, on that background. But I also want to add... This will make sense in a sec. Where's my water? Oh, you guys, my head is just like... No.
It's called a ball burnisher.
Yes, a dotting tool. Okay. Okay. Add a little bit of water. My Gansai Tambi Starry colors. Again, as is tradition, I will be doing splatter, but the other thing I want to do is add centers to my flowers. So the thing to always note with these, pretty much any metallic style, it doesn't have to be specific to this brand, but any like specifically metallic watercolors, is when you add water to them, you need to let it sit for a little bit. Like the fine tech ones especially, also because those are metallics. Like you can't just immediately take, even just my little water brush and go like, because you know it's this brush is damp, and it's like nothing's coming up, like nothing's happening, and it's like with these you need a little bit of time for the water to start softening and mixing. So like even, and it doesn't take long. This has been what, a minute, not even. So added a little bit of water, start swirling it around, and then you get beautiful, beautiful color. Or in this case, beautiful splattery goodness. But what I wanted to do is take my trusty old dotting tool. So just any dotting tool, stylus will work. Actually, I'm going to use the larger side. And dot it on the centers of my little flowers. Just like so. So that I'll set aside to dry. That'll only take like a minute or two. And then this, where are we at with this guy? See how well things have adhered? Much better. Okay, so this is adhered. Let's do the dotting first, and then we're still going to add some splatter, because this is what we do. Okay. Has anyone tried the gold paint in the ceramic dish from Spellbinders? Yep. It's nice. It's pretty. I can't remember if it was a live or just a filmed video I showed it. It's a different finish. It's a different shade of gold than any of the ones in the Gansai Tambi. This one they call it pale gold. And I would call this like a neutral gold. You know, this is definitely yellow gold. We got red gold, blue gold, light gold, champagne gold, white gold. This I would call a neutral. It just is. So, it's nice. Anyway, let's add some little centers to our little flowers so that they look a little more finished. Just like so. And then we're going to add some splatter, because that's what we do. Where is my... Okay. So we'll take just a bit, not a lot. That's enough of that. What I wanted to do was also add, let me clean off my brush, move that out of the way. I wanted to add some pink splatter. Again, just because I can. So I've got my little picked raspberry distress watercolor pencil. And the same fan brush. I'm going to just sort of tap off some of the excess because I got a lot. And we're just going to add some splatter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got texture and splatter and fabulousness. Okay. Stick that over there. Let this kind of wipe off a little bit of the excess. Because using the fan brush, this does get a little messy. Let that dry. I got my bird. I got my sentiment. Do I want to add baker's twine? I think I do. I was planning on it the whole time because I already have it linked in the supplies. Yeah. Yeah. Just gotta let everything dry. Just gotta let it dry. Okay. Yeah, splattering with the distress watercolor pencils. I did invent this. It was accident. It was an accident. I was coloring it was this bird in the video I posted a few days ago. And yeah, it was an accident. I was coloring with my work. I lost it already. There it is. My little watercolor brush, coloring the pieces. And I wasn't paying attention and I accidentally went, flicked it against the edge. And it created a bit of splatter. And I was like, so yeah, new challenge was unlocked that day. And now, just like I said it was either the last video or the video before, I forget, you guys. But I just said, I was like, I now have like 73 colors at my disposal that splatter really nicely. I'm happy. I might have to get another set of distress watercolor pencils. Fun times. Did you use picked raspberry for the splatter because I wanted it to contrast the like very pale pink of the little flowers, and plus I just wanted it to really show up. If you wanted to keep the splatter softer, you could use like spun sugar. That would look really pretty. But I was set on the picked raspberry. And speaking of which, where is my baker's twine? I had it. Where did it go? Oh, is that the one? I don't think that's the one. 1 second, folks. I know where it is. I know where it is. I was just looking at it like before I went live. It's right here. No, that's red. Where's the paint? There it is. Okay.
That was a mighty
I had to take a journey through the jungle.
Yeah.
Literally. Oh. Okay. Baker's twine. Gonna add a little bit just because I can. And there we go. I'm gonna take a bit of baker's twine. Just gonna wrap it around like so. And then cut off the excess. Go like that. Yeah. So, get that out of the way. Reverse tweezers. A must have, in my opinion. I think these are on sale. You want to check? You want to click on them?
Which one?
The reverse tweezers. Because I think they're on sale. They were. They might not be anymore. They're still worth it. They're not expensive. But I saw that they were on sale the other day, and I was like, I should order 10 more. You don't need 10, but I recommend having more than one pair. I mentioned that. I've mentioned that many times. When you only have one pair, they grow legs and walk away. But if you get them a buddy...
They're almost half off, so yeah.
Yeah, they're almost half price. They're like $3.95. Seriously. Like... Anyway, I make my knot. The reverse tweezers are holding it. I used to do it with my pinky way back in the day, and then reverse tweezers, game changer. And then you just make your bow. And the thing with baker's twine, because it is a spun, it's twisted. You've got two different colors literally twisted together. You don't want to pull anything tight till you're done, because if you pull it tight and then you're like trying to zhuzh it and move it, it's just going to keep twisting, and that's when your bow starts going like this. So you zhuzh it, you kind of get it the way you want it, and then you pull it tight, remove the reverse tweezers, pull it tight again, and that usually does the trick. Excuse me. Bless you.
Oy.
Yeah, we are a mess. I'm just, and it just makes me like depressed because I'm like, this is gonna be me tomorrow. Like, he's a mess.
Oh yeah.
Wow. There we go. There we go. There's my little bow. And then cut off the excess. Okay. So we got I may actually fiddle, and I didn't link to this, of course. I may actually use a bit of foam strips. I know I never do this because I just cannot be bothered. However, this is a very textured background, and I can add the link to this.
In a few minutes.
Yeah. The unpaid intern needs a little bit of a break. He's not feeling good. Let me... Okay, so these are waffle foam strips. Give me a sec, guys, because now I'm doing everything myself. I will be editing the links and stuff later. There we go. Ha! I can do things myself. Okay. Foam strips. Because this is so textured. This and then on top of it, it's also being adhered, like there's levels going on here. So I'm gonna put some foam strips kind of on the bottom and right there. Not gonna need much. Stick one right there. There we go. Chris, most men are laying in bed. Oh, sometimes he's the worst. You know, man cold. They're like insufferable babies at times. He totally can get like that sometimes. But generally, he's fine. And he wasn't going to participate today. I was going to do it on myself, you know? But
I'm not like a man cold kind of guy.
you sometimes, I just finished talking, so you sometimes are.
Yeah,
but it's rare. Usually it's when you're like really sick. Although there have been times where it's like you've got nothing but a little baby man cold and you're like, oh, I'm dying.
Oh.
But it's been a long time since you've been like that. I think we just both of we don't have a choice. Neither of us do anymore. It's like we don't have a choice. We got way too much to do. We both work more than full time. We got too many kids, so it's like just don't have time to deal with this. Okay. I'm gonna put some along the bottom. If you peel the backing off your foam tape, here's another little random tricksy poo. If you peel the backing off, so it's just the foam tape, like no, there's no backing, it's super flexible. So then you can like go like this. This is gonna, you gotta be careful though, because if you're touching it a lot with your fingers, it's going to obviously lose its stick, which mine is doing because I'm touching it. Okay. But then you can manipulate it along funny little like things like this, curved edges, etc. And then you don't have to cut 15,000 teensy little pieces of foam tape. So that's going to work. There we go. That'll work. I'm going to cut off this little... Actually, yeah. There we go. That piece right... No, screw it. We're good. Okay, we got a little bit of... There we go. There we go. Okay. So then we'll add just a bit of glue to the spots that are overlapping that can actually adhere to the raised bits. And then we can just stick this into place. Just like that. I truly believe a week of menstrual cramps would humble most men. Of course it would. Unpaid intern gets credit. He has full sympathy when I have to deal with that absolute garbage.
Yep.
Sucks so much. Not fun. But yeah. Okay. We got that. We got to get our little birdie tucked in here. And him, I'll stick some little thin foam squares on him. The same thing. We're dealing with very uneven surface. So we'll just pop some of those into place like so. Okay. There we go. And then we'll tuck him in. Like that. So he's just sitting there amongst the cherry blossoms, looking all adorable and such. Okay. And as usual, I'm like running out of room. So then, yeah, I'm going to put foam tape on the back of this. Good old trusty Big Mama foam tape. We're going to stick that on the back. There we go. Stick foam tape. This also helps when you're dealing with very textured panels. I find more often than not. It just depends. Like this I could still glue, but because I also have the baker's twine, so that creates an unevenness. So the one time that decided to stick to my scissors. These scissors never stick. What the heck? There we go. There we go. Okay, now we get this monster roll out of the way. There we go. So, okay. This is dry. You can pick a winner.
Can I?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I am almost. Get off of there. There we go.
I'll drop the link in chat one more time.
Cool. There we go. Pull off the backing. Okay. So, make sure I got clearance, and then commit. And there's our card. I was going to add some bling, but I don't think he needs it. Yeah, it doesn't need it. I can zoom in. Let me move some things out of the way. Let me move some things out of the way, and then we'll like whoop, whoop. There we go. There's our finished card with all of the, there we go. Now you can see all the texture of that cherry blossom embossing folder. And then our little birdie. Our little birdie. And then the inside. There we go. We did it. We survived. Mostly. The day is still young. It is not over. Oh my goodness. So
our winner today is Denise. I don't know how to pronounce that last name, so I'm not going to try, but from Florida.
Denise in Florida. Hooray.
Vero Beach, Florida.
Cool. So, like I said in the, here, I'm gonna switch back to this, even though I'm just like, whew, I look rough. We can go like that. There we go. I will be mailing things out this week, 100%. So that'll be the last lives and the one from before, which was like a month ago. I'm so bad. But those ones are already ready to go. So this one I will get, addressed and sent out literally this week, because I have to go to my post office box, one, to check it, and also to renew it and do all the things. So yeah. And thank you everybody for the get well wishes. I'm hoping I'm hoping that this doesn't last long, but like our kids had it was like a week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really hoping ours isn't. I can't. I have too much to do. I have too much work to do. No, I'm just like, no, I don't accept this. But I feel like crap. And yeah, Chris is like a day ahead of me, and he really is he's a mess. Fun times. But also, as always, I'll have the photos. I'll finish the blog post. I'll have the photos and all the things. That'll all be done a little later today. And update all of the things. And yeah, as of right now, everything is listed and linked in the description box below. The embossing folder sale is going on until tomorrow. I do have a $5 off code as well. That's posted in the description box below. I have no idea how long that is, like how long that'll work for. That might only be for this weekend. I have no idea. And yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Thanks to my unpaid intern for helping.
Stuck it out.
Yeah, you survived.
I did.
It worked. So yeah, I'm gonna finish off my tea. I'm going to curl up in the fetal position and just feel sorry for myself for a while, literally. I'm probably going to curl up and just like play video games for a bit and just be like, where? Because that's just how I'm feeling. The longest day, I can feel it. I can feel it behind my ears. I'm just not fun. So we'll keep drinking our tea and taking it easy. And I'm just glad we went and got ice cream yesterday. So, wah. Anywho, thank you guys so much. We'll see. I make zero promises. I will, no matter what, I will have videos coming this week. Oh, I lost my little like thing for my glasses. I will have videos coming this week. I don't make any promises about like impromptu lives or anything, because depending on how this all pans out. No. So we'll just see. Yeah. Oh, there it is. Okay, we're good. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in and for hanging out with me. And yeah, I had fun. I did. I had fun. I enjoyed making this. This turned out better than it was, forming in my head, because at this point we're getting to a fever dream. So we'll see how things go. And yeah, I'll see you guys. I will see you guys in future videos, Sundays, lives, always. That's the thing. And then we'll just see what happens. So I will talk to you guys later.